Good morning, everybody. It is so good to have you here with me. Imagine
if you have your vision as the car with the right team.
Imagine how quick that vision will come into the pits. Something that was taking 5 years takes 3 months. This morning is all about the leadership and influence.
It's that time. But it's not the same person that always says that. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Inside Show. You are tuned into the Tuesday podcast, the Inside series with not Dr. Carl Hendricks this morning, but me, Lee. I'm normally on a Wednesday for those of you who only tune in on a Tuesday. I normally fall in on the Wednesday slot, but today I will be standing in for Dr. Carl Hendricks. Just by the way, it is Dr. Carl and Pastor Jones' anniversary today. Woo! Xavier, those are your parents. Oh, wait. I am joined this morning by the Monday host, but today he is the Tuesday co-host. It's mixed up today, mixed masala, confuse the enemy, right, Zax? So good morning, Xavier.
Good morning, Leandra. Explain that formal greeting.
I must. We are talking about serious things here this morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Insights Show on a Tuesday. And of course, you can see that my parents are out on their honeymoon.
Yay!
30 years?
It's more than 20 years. Come on. I think they're in their 30s now.
No, I was going to say 20 something. No, it's 34.
36.
36.
Yo. It's okay.
Remember that old gold advert? 36.
36?
Yeah, 36 years
Wow.
of marriage. Yeah, so
You're taking it back, eh? You're taking it back.
All the way back.
But we are very, very, very proud of our leaders, Dr. Carl and Pastor Joan Hendricks, who are celebrating their 36th wedding anniversary. Amen. Such inspirations, don't you think? Such leadership, such absolutely wonderful caliber of people. But then also, because we have a very interesting topic this morning, we are going to have an inside look at the Insights Show. All those frequently asked questions that we receive from our guests and from our viewers about the Insights Show. And we are joined by a marketing specialist. Llewellyn, if I'm not mistaken, if I got your whole vocation wrong, I apologize for that. But Llewellyn Oliver is not a stranger, not Olivier, not Olivier. Llewellyn Oliver is no stranger to the Insights Show. So good morning, Llewellyn.
Good morning, Leandra. Good morning, Xavier. Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to this chat this morning.
It's an honor to have you here. We know that you have so much insight.
Yeah, there we go.
Into this topic about the Insights Show here. So can you just do a short, brief introduction for us, for those people who do not know you? Let them know.
Awesome. Well, thank you, guys. My name is Llewellyn Oliver, as the beautiful host has actually just mentioned, and I am a chartered marketer. I am a digital connection specialist, and I live my life on social media. I live my life on everything digital, and I'm looking forward to really looking into the insights behind the Insights Show, because this show has really become a trailblazer in the South African space. And I really think that it is destined for greatness as we continue to watch the trajectory that it's going on and the direction that the show is heading on. So yeah, I'm looking forward to chatting about how this team behind the scenes has actually ensured relevance and ensured that the show gets to you and I every single day without fail, 5 days a week. Guys, that is huge.
Mm-hmm.
That is huge.
So I just want to put a disclaimer out there. We did not pay Llewellyn to say all those nice things about the Inside Show, although he is a chartered marketer, as he said. But you mentioned something that I'm sure we all envy. I live my life on social media.
Yeah.
But not like how we live our lives on social media, right? It's a little bit different for you.
It's actually very different for me, because I am, by my training and I think just by who I am, I'm an anthropologist by nature.
Okay.
And before social media, I would go to a coffee shop and I'd sit and I'd have a notebook, and what I'd actually be doing is I'd actually be listening in. I'd be watching people's behavior, seeing what do they do, how do they engage, because by understanding and watching people, you get to understand how to actually take messages to them, how to connect.
Yes.
Because you can't connect with someone or something that you don't understand.
Yes.
And since social media, it's made my life so much easier, because now I can understand people from the highlight reels that they put out there for the rest of the world to see.
Sure.
You know, some people wear their hearts on their sleeves, and they tell you everything from their biggest heartache through to
Sure.
their biggest joys.
Yes, yes.
And they have no filters. Other people are very private. But yeah, I live my life on social media because, from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, I make my living there.
Yes.
I study people. I look at how do I connect with people? What's happening in their lives? How can I take the various brands that I work with and answer problems or give solutions to problems that people might be facing that they don't realize that they have yet.
Yes.
So social media has provided me with a great opportunity to actually make brands more relevant in their space. Because, we're living in a world where it's no longer people living in a brand world, but it's brands living in the people's world.
Wow,
because
that's so
social
profound.
media is the people's world.
Yes.
And by understanding why people go there and how they use it, you can actually be so much more effective. And that's me. And that's, I would say, I've tried to stay away from sleeping 8 hours a day. So I would actually say that 20 hours of the day, I have my phone on, and I'm on all my platforms with dashboards, with notifications going through all the time. My wife gets crazy with all the beeping that happens.
Yeah. I mean, you were sitting here from the time you got in here, your phone has been going nonstop. I'm not too sure if it's the laptop, if it's the phone, there's a watch notification, you just like buzzing everywhere, eh? So you are the buzz, basically.
Everything is connected and everything has to be buzzing.
Yes.
I even find when I'm doing my Saturday morning cycling, that I get certain notifications on my phone, because my on my watch, because my phone is packed away. But that at least helps me to identify and assess if there's an urgent social media happening.
Okay.
If something groundbreaking is happening, like for example, a few weeks ago with the looting and riots that happened in KZN, we had to be so quick to respond, because it would be. You have to be sensitive to what's happening around you. So the minute that the news broke of the looting, we had to go down and we had to actually pull off campaigns. We had to take down marketing and messaging campaigns, because it would be insensitive to people in KZN offering a sale or inviting people to come in and buy when their livelihoods are being taken away from them. When there's gunshots and there's Caspers going around and people don't know what tomorrow's going to hold. So it's important. It's not just about being popular. It's about using social media to stay relevant.
Yes. I love that you mentioned that relevancy is key. I used to work in the marketing space, but not as a marketer, as an editor for a huge B2B magazine company. And I was the editor-in-chief of, so we ran 4 B2B retail magazines. And back when I was working, I make myself sound old, but it is quite a while ago when I was working there. And there was this phrase, content is king, content is king. But I think that although content is king, and we know that we've seen that because you need to get as much content out as possible in order for you to stay on the top and to stay relevant. But you spoke about relevancy, and that is what I want to speak about with relation to the Inside Show and the importance of staying relevant and reading the room, Mary. Read the room, because a lot of the times marketers will still get this thing right, but now you've got a new game of influencers that now becomes the brand ambassadors. They become the face of the brand. And how important is that? Because we're going to tie that in with the Inside Show and remaining relevant, especially like for hosts like myself and Xavier and Dr. Carl and the Unk and Joan on Talk with Joan. You are the face of the show. So you carry the brand. how important, you spoke about it with me earlier on, how important is it to remain relevant, to keep up with the times, to read the room, because we can miss that. And I love that you mentioned with the looting situation that you guys had to withdraw certain campaigns because it would have been insensitive. Although money was invested in it, you still had to make the decision to do so. So can you speak about that, the importance of staying relevant and knowing what is happening?
So I like to think of it like this: if content is king, then relevant content is the queen. You know, my wife and daughter recently started playing chess together and or against each other, and when you look at the chessboard, you see the importance of the queen and how much damage the queen can do to the opponent.
Yes.
And if you're relevant, you can actually you can actually cut out such an amazing path for yourself by knowing what's happening. So it's important for ambassadors.
Yes.
It's important for influencers to stay up to date. You know, you got to make sure that you know what's happening in the world.
Yes.
You got to know what's happening in your local community.
Yes.
You got to know what's the trends. You got to know what's current, what's good, what's bad. You also have to know what to stay away from so that you don't fall prey to cancel culture.
Hey, that is something that we need to talk about right here.
And if you don't know if you don't know the triggers, you're gonna walk into traps that you could easily avoid. So I always advise people that you don't think that you're an influencer only when you have 10,000 followers.
Yes.
Because the marketing world has actually realized that people with 200 friends are sometimes more influential than a macro influencer or a celebrity influencer who has 10 million people.
Okay. Because
the 200 people will be more engaging with their friend than the 10 million people who are just silently following, and they're just there because it's the cool thing to be. So the advice is, as an ambassador, as an influencer, whether you're a micro influencer, the fact that you carry this brand, you got to understand and remember that people are always watching what you say on social media, even the emojis that you put on social media.
Whoa.
Even
so it gets deep like that,
It really does, because people gauge or people actually draw conclusions from what you say and what you don't say. They're always watching. We honestly are living in an always-on culture, in an always-on society, where what you don't say sometimes speaks louder than what you do say on social media. So if there's a contentious issue happening, the fact that you've walked away from it is actually louder at most times than if you actually knew what you stood for and actually verbalized it.
You know, it's such a tricky situation. I don't know, do you guys remember the Black Lives Matter movement? And there was the Black Square. And so on that specific day, because this is how, and like I said to you, working in that space, I know about reading the room, how important it is, because I have seen many marketing teams just like make a big mess out of that situation where they don't read the room and they just go and they just post anything and do anything. So it was the Black Lives Matter movement, it was the Black Square. And so before I posted anything, and this is what I always do, I first go and I go do the research. I'm not a trend, I don't hop onto trends very quickly. So I was like, okay, there's black squares everywhere, what does this mean? Because I didn't know what it means. So I went and I Googled, I went to go search and I saw, okay, hashtag Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. And then I went and then I stumbled upon a specific post where one person was saying, please don't post the black squares because there was a specific reason behind it. So they were tracking the protests by the black squares. So there was a specific reason behind it. It wasn't just for awareness. It was to track what's happening in the different areas. So people would just hashtag Black Lives Matter, you know what I'm saying? And some people were making it fancy and stuff. And I was like, you know what? This could be both beneficial and detrimental. But how do you tell the difference? Because like you said, with cancel culture, you say something and it's wrong. You don't say something and it's wrong. And I know a lot of people were frowning upon me for not posting the hashtag Black Lives Matter thing. And I was more so on my stories, I was posting, what do you call this? Resources to sites concerning Black Lives Matter. That is how I added my voice to the story. But I didn't post the black square because I saw this one post. Fortunately, I came upon this. Many people, you can't blame them for not knowing, So Emma Watson, she's a very famous actress, and so she posted the Black Lives Matter thing because she's a big activist and she's a feminist and she speaks against racism and sexism, and so she posted the black squares, but 3 black squares and with white borders around them. And so she obviously wanted to be part of the movement, to show her solidarity. But unfortunately, the mistake that she made is that she posted 3 black squares with white borders around it because obviously, it's for the feed. I don't want my page to look untidy. There's a specific theme I'm going for. Read the room, Mary. You know what I'm saying? And there's a fine line between that. So what would your advice be for us on the Inside Show? Like I mentioned earlier to you, we want to be current because that is what we've come here for. We want to speak about things that mainstream media is not willing to speak about. We want to come with a different voice, a moral voice to a world that has moral degradation, right, at its forefront. And so we want to be relevant and we want to speak to these issues, but what should we look out for and how should we almost counteract this syndrome of Emma
Can
Watson?
I hop in there quickly before you say what you're about to say? I think it's important for any content creator. So I've been in the content creation space for a long time now as well. And I've had the spots where you reach your 10,000 and you get your videos that get 7,000 views, 8,000 views, and you get your comments and you get your I think what's important overall is to know what you stand for and stand for what you stand for.
Yes.
Because if, for example, I don't agree with the LGBTQ plus narrative, so I can't just go post a rainbow on my Instagram. It's popular, and it's trending, and everyone's just posting it. Some people don't even know what the colors mean or what the rainbow means or whatever means. They're just posting it because everyone's posting it. And so the question you now need to begin to ask yourself is, are you just posting because it's now mainstream and it's popular and everyone's doing it? Or do you even, like with the Black Lives Matter square, did you know what it symbolized? Did you know what it means? Apparently there was even issues with that as far as the black logo was some sort of depression or suppression of women's rights in Islamic nations and stuff like that. And so people were like, you guys are posting something that you don't even realize what it means. But when we begin to fall into the stream, then that's why they call it the mainstream. When we fall into the stream of everyone's just going here, then I must just hop on because everyone's going there. You need to ask yourself personally, inside of yourself, do I agree with these ideals? Do I agree with these things? Do I agree with what's just being said? Now, what that said is, I made a strong statement earlier about the LGBT. It doesn't mean that I don't like the people, or it doesn't mean that I have an issue with people. Yesterday, I had somebody on my show that was part of that community, and we had a brilliant conversation, and we've subsequently become quite, good. What do you call it? Not acquaintances. Yeah, we speak often. But we can clearly say, and she even asked me before the show, are you okay with having me on the show? Because, I'm part of that community. And I said, yes, why not? But I'm not going to advocate for something I don't necessarily agree with as a human being, as a person, as an what's the word that I always use? When you say that you are autonomous, as an autonomous being, grant me the right to also believe what I want to believe. And I feel like a lot of people fall into this trap, especially on social media. Whatever's trending, bro, whether you agree with it or not, whether it goes against your moral judgment or not. Whether,
Yeah, it's
bruh,
popular.
I'm just gonna hop onto this
Yeah.
thing because this is what's trending.
Yes.
This is what's gonna get me views. This is what's gonna get me likes.
Yes.
This is what's happening in the social media space. So I'm hopping on.
It was like that one thing on TikTok. I'm not too sure if you saw it. It was that red
thing.
that
Yeah, and
red
then everyone
thing.
was just doing it.
And they basically, so it's like some very sexy,
Yeah.
sensual
Yeah.
thing, and then there was this red screen
Filter.
over, and then people like undress, and then there's that. It
Filter.
almost like blocks out
The-
the nudity or
yeah.
whatever.
Nudity,
But apparently, that is what child pornographers were using in their campaign on social media to
drive their
advertise
narrative.
kidnapped or trafficked kids.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And people
So,
found
and
a
people
way.
thought like, oh, this is cool,
This is
but
cool
it
and-
came from a specific.
But there's a filter that you can remove that red filter and
Yeah.
then see the actual picture for what it
Yes,
for what it is.
yes.
And so here's the thing, and to answer the first question you asked as to how do you read the room, is that at some point you need. The reason I watch Ben Shapiro is because he is like strong in his narrative, and I don't agree with everything he says,
Yes.
but I like hearing his perspective and his point of view because that is his perspective. The reason I will watch someone like Jordan Peterson, I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but he has his perspective and I'm watching it with the intention to understand his perspective. There's another guy, what's that? The guy that always stands for the Pan-African. He's like a heavy set black guy. He's always on Dr. Umar Johnson.
Dr. Umar Johnson.
I don't necessarily, and sometimes his points are completely off. And then I'm sitting there thinking, no, bro, that's wrong. Like the one time he said, there's about Chinese and South Africans, and I'm like, dude, I love you, and I've never seen that narrative
Yeah.
that he's pointing out. But I watch him because I want to understand his point of view.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong to watch somebody, even if they disagree. I watch feminists sometimes to understand the angle they're coming from and why they're saying what they're saying, and to try to, to try and put myself in their position to see, oh, this is why they reason the way they do. So there's nothing wrong to see a different perspective. And I think the main problem we're living in the 21st century is that if this is the narrative, you jump on or else we cancel you.
Yeah.
And it can't be that way.
So I want you to answer that question, but I'll leave that for later because I want to go through the stats and I want you
Okay.
to unpack it for us. So I'm just going to go through a few YouTube user statistics that I found. These are recent ones. It's from Hootsuite or Hootsuite.
Yeah.
It was posted on the 2nd of February 2021. And so this is what the stats show. It says that YouTube has more than 2 billion logged in monthly users. So it's not as much as Facebook, who has 2.74 billion users. But remember, this could be flawed because this is logged in. So it could be calculated,
Yes. These
underrated.
people who are actually using the platform.
Yes. So these are logged in monthly users. Because remember with YouTube, you don't have to be logged in in order for you to watch. 74% of adults in the US use YouTube. 77% of 15 to 35-year-olds in the US use YouTube. 80% of the US parents of children 11 and under say their kids watch YouTube. And then it also says here that, I just want to get to this. What was quite shocking for me, there wasn't really, in terms of audience geography, there wasn't really like a big number of YouTube users in South Africa. But the three main YouTube using countries is the United States, and then with 16.4% of the total users of YouTube, and then India with 9.2% of the total YouTube users, and then Japan with 4.8%. It says that 56% of YouTube users are male. YouTube is the world's, and we spoke about this earlier, YouTube is the world's second most visited website.
Yeah.
Just after their parent company, Google. It's also the world's second most used social platform, right behind Facebook. So sorry, Instagrammers and tweeters.
Yeah.
It's YouTube. And then people watch more than 1 billion hours of YouTube every day.
Yeah. It is unbelievable.
Yesterday. Okay, let me just go through this. Viewers age 18 and over spend 41.9 minutes on YouTube daily on average. 40.9% of YouTube watch time happens on mobile phones. The average visitor to YouTube checks out 8.89 pages per day. There were 4 times more views of videos related to Black Lives Matter in the first 10 days of June 2020 than in all of 2019. And then it goes, and so then, yeah, that's basically, then I want to go to this last point. The number of channels that earn 10,000 USD per year or more on YouTube grew by 50% year over year. So, yeah, there's that. So I just want to quickly go to our stats on currently what we're sitting on. So,
While you're going to those stats quickly, there's a challenge I have with YouTube, and there's a bias depending on which country you're from.
Yeah.
Right? And I picked that up firsthand. So I'm running a family YouTube channel where I was vlogging literally every day, like a daily vlogging channel. I'm vlogging every day, posting content every day, and so you try to please the algorithm gods, and you try to hashtag the right thing, and you try to like just get the momentum. You try to be relevant, all those things. But when I had a challenge with my channel, I didn't have a place where I could actually go and query the challenge that I had. So I drove to Sandton, and I went to the Google office there, and I asked, hey, listen, is there perhaps, I think it's just past Bryanston, I managed to find the office, and I went in, and I said, listen, I have a challenge with this, because I was watching other YouTubers online going to YouTube's office and actually fixing the issues that they have with their channel. And the ladies at the counter didn't know what I was talking about. There wasn't an actual like office set up for it. And I think that what began to happen is that the early adopters of YouTube, especially like the guys that really blew up, that hit their 10 million subs, like PewDiePie, like the Paul brothers, like these British, like KSI, these British vloggers, like Mr. Beast at the moment. The people who really blew up, like Lily Sings, and those people who were early adopters of the YouTube platform, they blew up on a massive scale. And these people, we started watching them online. All of a sudden, they're buying Lamborghinis, they're buying houses. And we're sitting here saying, yo, is this all from the YouTube, from AdSense money?
Yeah.
And we're like, yo, this is AdSense money buying Lambos and you know, mansions, like the Ace family and all these people. And so then what naturally began to happen was that more people wanted to hop on that wave. So the stats that you're reading now, that all of a sudden there's an influx of content creators, because we're all seeing, yo, if we can create content and you can go buy a Lambo from AdSense money, why not? And so people hop onto this wave. And what began to happen is that YouTube then realized, snap, and people were getting views and they were reaching those milestones quicker, because there's certain milestones that you need to reach before you can monetize your channel. And I remember the first milestone was like, I think it was 500 subs and I think 1,000 watch hours. And so what happened to me personally, I hit that 500 subs and I hit 1,000 watch hours and I monetized my channel. Then YouTube realized, oh snap, we are literally dishing out billions every day to these content creators, because these people are reaching their targets quickly, and we're losing money. I don't know if they thought they were losing money or if they were losing money. And next thing you know, boom, they lifted the benchmark and said, now you have to have 1,000 subs, 4,000 watch hours. Again, it wasn't an issue to a lot of people, but then they started dropping the monetization. Then they started blocking people's videos. Then they started copyright striking people's things for like a picture in the background, or for like a song that's a car that drove past was playing. And then creators started getting irritated. Creators were like, yo, dude, you can't want to demonetize my video because a guy drove past playing a song and you heard like a piece of that song. And so then creators started really putting up a fight about that. Then they started implementing the things we spoke about before the show started, where they said, okay, if you follow because then people were starting to open Patreon accounts, people were starting to open GoFundMe accounts, because people were like, yo, I'm not making my YouTube AdSense the way I used to. There was literally big creators coming onto the platform saying, yo, YouTube is not doing what they used to do. When I first started at creating on this platform, I was hitting 5 million views, 3 million views, and I could literally go buy a car after one video. And YouTube's not doing it. People were starting to open GoFundMe accounts. People were starting to open Patreon accounts. So now YouTube has then brought part of the algorithm to say, okay, if you are following this content creator and you want to, support their channel in monetary value, then you can, donate $10 or donate $5 or donate $2. And so that was my challenge with YouTube when they realized that there's so many creators making it so big.
So our stats at the moment, we've got, so we started our channel. Well, our first video was launched on the 15th of November, 2020.
Okay.
That was the first one. And then we've been going daily since then. Well, Mondays to Fridays.
Yeah.
It was first Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. So it was 6 times a week. But then we saw that the Sunday channel is not working that well. It's also very early in the morning, so not many people watch the lives. And also to get then the playbacks after was difficult. So we just did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So currently we're sitting with 1,140 subscribers. So obviously, YouTube's, in order for you to be eligible for monetization, you need to reach 1,000 subs with 4,000 watch hours within a year.
Correct.
We surpassed our watch hours within that first 3 months. We surpassed 4,000 watch hours. And I guess it's because we do daily videos,
And live.
an hour long, and it's live. So say, for instance, if we do have maybe 10 people watching, if they watch
whole hour.
for an hour, that's already 10 hours. So that helped us a lot. Our total views is 54.3K. Let me do that. Watch time is 12.2K in total. And then I'm not going to tell you our estimated revenue right now because we're not talking about that today.
Let's not go there.
And so, we are eligible for monetization. So 52.8% of our watch time viewers are from 52.8% are not subscribed to our channel, and 47.2% are subscribed to our channel. The age difference, remember it says there that 50% more males watch than females. Our age and gender sits like this. We've got 44.5% being female and 55.5% being male. Our biggest age group is the 25 to 34-year-olds. And then, so that's it for them. So could you break this down for us and explain to us then what trends do you see within the stats that I gave you in terms of gender, in terms of age group, and also the kind of numbers that we're pulling? Remember I told you our top 3 videos are the first, our most watched video is TS Galaxy FC Bafana Pro footballer Ethan Brooks. He was there, so that's the most watched video. Then the grieving process, dealing with more than one loss in a short period of time, where we had grieving family members who were in studio on Talk with Joan that spoke about their process. And then the third one is, can trading really make you rich? The fourth one is the pastor's opinions. That one was big on Facebook. We almost on a 100,000 views on Facebook, but on YouTube it's a bit lower than that. And then the fifth one was Ashley Salt's Wambiza Funny Park, from pastor to drunk man. So based on these stats and based on what you know, what are the trends that you pick up on?
So what I'm seeing, and I want to take a step back and I want to just put it into context for our audience.
Okay.
Because I want you to realize how big this really is.
Okay.
The fact that this channel has reached in excess of 1,000 subscribers in under a year is really huge, and that you hit your watch hours, because let me tell you, YouTube also, the algorithm for you to qualify for that next stage to become monetized, they don't allow you. This needs to be organic growth. So if you don't understand what organic growth is, you can't create a campaign to go and get people to watch your video. And think that is going to shortcut the process to get your watch hours. They don't allow paid watch hours into that algorithm.
Sure.
It has to be organic. So what is organic? Organic means that people out of their own volition are watching.
Okay.
People want to watch. They resonate with with your content. So there's from Xavier's example. There's 2 kinds of people that go onto YouTube, or content creators.
Okay.
You get the content creators who want to go onto YouTube for the sole purpose of making money.
Yes.
That is why they're there.
Yes.
They want the Lambo that they've seen that other YouTubers are posting.
Yeah.
They want the mansion, they want the holidays.
Yes.
So they're going to go out and they're going to put they're going to do whatever it takes to get there.
Okay.
Then you have other content creators like the Insights Show who are delivering value.
Okay.
Okay. And I always believe that if you want to be true to yourself, and I'm going back to your question now,
Yes.
regardless of the issue you face, if you're true to yourself, but that means knowing yourself, having a brand position
Okay.
that you can then take on, you can then know, regardless of how contentious the issue is, if I have a brand position that I truly believe in, I can actually approach it. I can approach any sensitive topic. Like Xavier's brand position. He knows who he is. He knows what he stands for.
Yes.
So he doesn't mind saying contentious things because that's what he believes. And believe it or not, guys, people respect you for even
standing
being,
what you believe
for even if you don't agree with, even if they don't agree with you,
Yes.
but they
yes.
respect you if you stand for what you believe in.
Yes.
So going back here, the Inside Show delivers value.
Okay.
That's why you've had this organic growth. Yes, it does seem slow for others out there. Okay,
It seems slow for us too, but,
but understand what happens every 60 seconds on YouTube. Okay, and this is going to blow your mind. You know, every 60 seconds, there's 500 hours of content uploaded.
so within this minute,
Yes,
there was
There were
500.
videos
500
uploaded.
hours
Oh my
Hours.
gosh.
of content.
Wow. Sure.
So you're not just up against the SABC, DSTV, ETV.
Yes.
You're up against
The world.
millions and millions of content creators who are after the same pie. So don't despise the growth. This kind of growth is, you know, if you imagine a curve, you at this stage you start seeing growth going up slightly, and all of a sudden it just takes one video. It just takes one video and then you become viral.
Oh, okay.
Everyone wants viral, but not many people want to go through the
The
process
work before
of
the
getting
viral.
to viral.
Exactly.
Getting to
Yes.
viral is you establishing your archetype. You're establishing who you are. So
Yes.
are you a hero? Are you a caretaker? Are you a caregiver? Are you that the jester? You know, are you the person who's going to make fun out of everything? I mean, I love. I hope I don't step on toes by mentioning the brand, but I absolutely, if there's a brand in South Africa that I love the marketing
Nando's.
strategy, it's Nando's.
I knew it because I also love
saw you
them.
going there.
I also love
I
them.
absolutely love the brand. They know who they are.
Yes.
They know their archetype. They are a jester.
Yes, definitely.
They're going to make
They're
fun,
gonna make fun
of
and fool, yeah.
every situation. So regardless of how contentious it is, regardless of how potentially volatile it could be, that can push you into cancel culture,
Yeah.
like what happened last week with the guy who went at them with the bread roll story. And they flipped it around, and it became
Brilliant.
Whoever's sitting on that board is smart.
so it comes back down to understanding, developing your archetype,
Okay.
developing your position, and people respect you for that. So when I look at something that really speaks to where we're going as a nation or as content consumers, is your audience. Your audience being 25 to 34s, that's your millennial.
Okay.
So these are the people. These are the people who grew up with technology, but they also remember a time before technology. And these are people who, according to the research and according to the stats, these are people who want authenticity, who want relevance.
Okay.
If you are going to stand for nothing and just try and be on every bandwagon, they're going to see through it and they're going to fall away. So the fact that you are so successful in the 25 to 34 category on YouTube speaks volumes for the content, which means people are valuing what you're delivering.
Yes.
If I look at the relevance, so let's talk about, let's score the channel, let's score the Inside Show on relevance.
Okay.
And we look at your top 3 shows. The football player,
Yes.
young guy, a beautiful backstory. The dad got to share his story.
Yes.
About how he saw this potential in the child, how someone spoke over the child when he was a kid,
Yes.
and how the dad just lived the rest of his life to try and now build this and let this come to pass. That resonated with people, but it was at a time when sport was highlighted in the world, not just in the country, but in the world.
Yes.
This was in the time of the Olympics.
Yes.
This was also at a time, looking aside from the Olympics, when the UK reopened their stadiums. And South Africa was now up in arms because we can't go to a soccer game, but then we put on the TV and there's 60,000 people at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
And our hearts are burning to be in a stadium again. So what does the Insights show do? They bring on a soccer player and we talk about the sport and we talk about the passion, we talk about the journey. And it resonated with people. That's why it shot up to be one of your top 3.
Yes.
If we look at your show with the Talk with Joan,
Yeah.
and you look at timing, so there's relevance. Let's look at timing. Timing is crucial. That specific show came on at a time when social media was flooded with condolences. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing another person grieving the loss of a loved one. So relevance plus timing brought in a show that was a tearjerker across the genders and across the ages.
Yes.
And that's what also, I remember you guys celebrating that the Talk with John at the first anniversary
Yes.
was your biggest,
The biggest show.
the biggest show because of the timing and the relevance of those sensitive issues. So it's always, it's about bringing value. It's about being relevant and it's about getting the timing right. Now, granted, as a content creator, you guys know it's not always right. It's not always easy to get the timing right.
Yeah.
It's like a comedian. If you talk to any comedian, they will tell you the biggest challenge that they work on in getting ready for any show, in writing content, is not the content.
No.
It's the timing.
Yes.
So the same is true here. It's about the timing, and that's what's actually been the catalyst for the growth.
Even that money one came at a time when people were losing their jobs because of job cuts.
Yes.
Came at a time when people were trying to find online ways of how can I make some more money because I literally just got a job cut or I got, you know, I lost my job altogether. And so that literally was in that space of everyone scurrying and everyone going online and Netflix hitting, you know, the highest highs that they've ever hit. And so people were like, how can I get into the markets? How can I make more money? And everyone's talking about investments.
And something that stood out to me on that show, I mean, that show was a while ago, but there's certain things that stand out if you, especially when you're analyzing it from a technical point of view. And the third thing that you guys got absolutely right in a lot of your shows, but in that one specifically, is you brought out authenticity in a time of heightened skepticism.
Yes.
Because millions of people around the world, South Africa is no stranger to it, were scammed by traders, by trading, putting money into pots that they thought was going to deliver big returns.
Yeah.
So what did you guys do? You brought in a real trader.
Yes.
Who was actually so brazen and bold to say, here's my trading account.
Yeah.
Here's my password. You go on and you see it. So what did you do? You actually challenged the authenticity and what was being experienced in the market at that stage.
You know, another thing that I noticed, like we always thought that, but yeah. So when we started this and we started planning around the kind of shows that we will have and what each show will represent, at first there was, for me, I must say from the onset, I was not big on just bringing in guests. I felt like we need to carry the brand ourselves. Although bringing in guests is a good thing, but I think the misconception many times, because we've realized that looking at the stats, we think that there's this big celebrity guest or whatever, they're going to rake in the views. And then those shows don't. All these shows, except for that Ethan Brooks show, was from people just like lay people, your normal civilians who, you know, Ethan Brooks is obviously, he's not on like top celebrity status, but he is popular within the community. And so with him, that is why that show was successful. But look at all the other shows where we thought that we're going to bring in like celebrities and we're going to... Those shows didn't do as well as what we thought it would. So there's this misconception that you must get somebody with high numbers to rake in numbers for you. But based on that, what do you think? Because for me, I feel like you talk about organic growth.
Yes.
I still feel like it's a new show. For me, starting off with the Inside Show, obviously I work in the back as well. I work on the production level. My main thing was not guests and my main thing was not celebrities. Because for me, we need to establish the Inside Show
Yes.
for what it is.
Yeah.
And we need to I don't want to become a celebrity. That's never my intention. But we need to be the faces of the brand that carry the brand through. So people must become familiar with us and not necessarily with the guest.
Yes.
It's like inviting a guest into your house. Your viewers are going to be like, who this?
Yeah.
Who this person be? You know what I'm saying? And it's
Because
like,
they come for your show.
and before the show, you were saying that you bring in somebody with a story, but what you mentioned, it's so what the
Yeah,
so
the
what.
so what of it, yeah.
And speak to us about the so what and the importance of understanding your so what.
100%. You know, that is so true, because what you must remember is, why are you here?
Yes.
I speak to brands almost every day, and everyone wants to be on YouTube. And my first question is, why?
Yeah.
What do you want to say? Why do you want to be there?
Okay.
What do you want to achieve? Do you have something to say? It's like this whole bandwagon at the moment of everyone wants to be on TikTok. And my first question is, why?
Yeah.
That's the point.
What do you want to achieve? Does it resonate with who you are? Because that's the so what.
Yes.
You know, you need, if you know who you are, you can create the most amazing website, and you can take me to your website. But if you don't give me the so what, so what must I do when I get to your website? So what must I do when I've seen this picture?
And now?
So what must I do when I've come to your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Where do you want me to click? That's why one of the things
True,
that's
though.
become
It's funny, but it's
Yeah.
true. Like,
It's like-
I'm here now. What must I
It's
do?
that
Yeah,
you know
Just
that
look at your
that,
picture now.
that
What?
meme, that guy.
No, what now?
I mean,
I'm here now, so what now?
And then
are you going to entertain me?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
And then what?
Are you going to educate me?
Yes.
Are you
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
Are you
motivate
going to take me on a journey?
Yeah.
You know, you got to tell me as your audience, what do you want from me? What do you want me to do?
Yes.
When I come to your channel? Do you want me to subscribe? Then tell me to subscribe.
Yes.
Do you want me to watch this
Oh,
video?
please, by the way, please do subscribe for those of you who are watching if you haven't subscribed
Yeah.
yet.
Do you want me to hop onto your course that you perhaps
Yes.
doing, or whatever the case may be? Yeah.
Always have a so what.
Yes.
A call to action.
There must be a call to action. There has to be. It's where a lot of people, you know, we can take 1 million people to your site. We can take 1 million people to your YouTube channel.
Yes.
But if I'm not telling you why I'm taking you there,
Yes.
what
Then
do I
what's the
want you to
point?
do, then what is the point?
Yeah.
And you have your so what needs to be measurable.
Yes.
You need to be able to measure, well, I've taken 1,000 people here and 1,000 people have now subscribed. So that's what I wanted. Is it what I wanted? Was that the so what I was after?
Yes.
Do I want them to watch more videos? Am I telling them to watch more videos? Because remember, this is a super dynamic space that we're in. But it all, once again, it comes back to being relevant and true to yourself.
Yes.
Be relevant, make sure your timing is right, and be authentic.
Yeah.
If you're going to hop onto every trend and fad out there, your audience, especially the millennials, that we won't even talk about the Gen Zs,
Yeah.
but especially the millennials are going to see right through it.
Yes. It's like I always say, as a creator, as a actor, as a producer, for me, I've always lived by this philosophy. Like, if you are going to act it out and there's no real emotion, you think your audience cannot see that. Like, I feel like people need to stop underestimating the intelligence of audiences. They can see stuff. I always make this example, like in continuity shots. When this thing is here and you cut the shot and you get it from another angle and it's here now,
You can
the
see
audience
it, yeah.
notices it. And it might, this is quite a hectic example, but the subliminal messaging, the audience, they pick it up. They're like, this one's being false about this. So when Xavier says, like, this is what I believe in and this is what I stick to, and
That's
it
it.
doesn't matter what you say, the audience, like you said earlier, they will
respect
respect you
it, yeah.
for that.
Yes.
They're like,
So-
others operates like this. That's how he is.
So then I want to get into, in the last 10 minutes, Oh my gosh, why does time go so fast when we're having fun, eh? So, in the last 10 minutes, I want to talk about how do you integrate the other social media platforms. Because when we had a plan in the beginning, we were like, okay, this on our SNSs, social networking sites, we're going to have Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I said stay away from Twitter because Twitter can become a toxic environment. So we did YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. There was an idea to also go live on Facebook, but I was like, that defeats the purpose. That defeats the purpose of us wanting to generate a following on YouTube, because it's like you cannot split your audiences. It becomes quite difficult, although it can. What I've experience, obviously not from a professional marketing perspective, but from my own experience, is that you can generate an audience, say for instance on Instagram, and you can then filter them through onto YouTube, but you cannot go live on two platforms at the same time, because it's going to be does that or the other. And in South Africa, most people are on Facebook than what they are on YouTube. So I just want to give you the stats on our Instagram. So we have 433 followers at the moment. And then on Facebook, we've got 446 follows. So it's not that far of a difference between that. But what do you think we should do differently in order to engage more on? Because those are the two that I've been struggling with, Instagram and especially Facebook.
So what you want to do on those channels, and I agree with you 100% that the Inside Show has found a home. Okay.
Yes.
So the Inside Show as a video podcast, its home, its street address is YouTube.
Yes.
So you don't want to confuse that. So what you want to actually do is you want to drive traffic from your Facebook, from your other social media sites, back to your YouTube. So basically what you want to do is you want to maybe look at taking the highlights from your show, pop it onto the social media, but not as a social media video upload, as a YouTube video upload, as a YouTube promo that's embedded in YouTube, played on Facebook and Instagram, driving traffic back to YouTube.
Okay.
Because everything you want to do is you want to take people back to your home. You want to take them back to your street.
Yes.
Because this is the platform that you're developing, and you guys, if starting this in November 2020. If you think about it, I'm not saying we're competing, but I'm saying you're ahead of the game, because video podcasting has really skyrocketed in South Africa over the last year and a bit, to such an extent that one of the most prominent radio stations in Gauteng has actually become a video podcaster too in the last couple of months. Why? Because there's such an audience, there's such a shift into this space. So what you want to do is you want to use every other channel, not to confuse it, but as directional media back into the YouTube space.
Okay.
Years ago, I've been in media for most of my working career. And the biggest media house with the biggest audience was S3, was SABC3.
Okay.
And you would get 24 million viewers per 7 day. Okay.
Okay.
Followed by ETV with a couple of million, slightly less per 7 days. So the biggest challenge for media buyers like myself was at that stage, which program on that big channel is going to get me my most views?
Yes.
Let me tell you, in South Africa today, Facebook has 27 million users in South Africa. Now remember, we're in a country with 60 million that we know of, 60 million people.
Yes.
Facebook has 27 million. That's almost half of the population. YouTube has 24 million. YouTube is now bigger than our second biggest TV broadcaster in the country.
Sheesh.
So this is the address that you want to be driving people to, is to what you got on YouTube, because that's where South Africans are.
Now I wanted to ask a question, especially with the Facebook algorithm. When you post something, like if the chances that if we did this podcast on Facebook, we would have probably been on 100,000 followers by now.
Yeah.
If we went every morning live on Facebook, we would have went there live and hit like 20,000 views like this.
Yes.
Why when you come onto YouTube, it's like you have to kind of crawl your way to 10 views, and then crawl your way to 20 views. Why is that the case? Do you know?
Look, my best guess at that is the reason why people use the different platforms. Remember why they go to Facebook. It's to connect with friends. Why do people generally now go to YouTube? It's to search for information. It's to see how to do certain things.
Yes.
And it's to get motivation and inspiration.
So it's the why again.
It's the why. And your biggest search terms on YouTube is how to. If you are solving a problem, tag it as how to overcome anxiety, how to overcome fear, how to, it's a simple thing to do, but it's something that a lot of people overlook.
Yes.
And it's about the searchability. On Facebook, if I watched an amazing video, but I didn't save it or I didn't like it at the time, the minute I scroll down,
It's gone.
and I come back up, it's gone.
Yes.
How am I going to find it? Then I go into search in Facebook and I try and find it. And I'm not discrediting Facebook, guys.
Yeah, no, it's
I
true.
make- I make
I'm
a
sure that
living on
happened to a
Facebook.
lot of people because it happened
true.
to me. What you're explaining happened to me.
But if
many
you do,
times.
if you take that same scenario on YouTube, it's always in my history, and it's easy to find what I've watched,
Yes.
and it's easy to hop back in where I left off.
In fact, sometimes if you don't have time, you watch it for like a couple of seconds and then you continue with your life because you know
You can
that
go
I'm
back.
just gonna go to my history and I'll find
Correct.
what I saw there.
Yeah.
Correct, and a lot of people, I think a lot of people are like me. Every single one of my devices are connected, so my profile on my smart TV is the same as is connected to my profile on my MacBook to my phone.
Yes.
So if I watch something on YouTube on my phone that
gonna
I
be on the
like,
TV.
the minute I hop onto my
Yeah.
TV, I'm going to see it and I can
Yes.
continue it there.
Yes.
So it's about the searchability and it's about the relevance and understanding why people are using the platforms they do. What you do find is cross pollination between the platforms. That's why it's important to use Facebook, use Instagram to
Yes.
build and to direct people to YouTube.
So what content do you think, in closing, that we should put more on? Like, for instance, on Instagram, what kind of content should you put? Because I assume that you shouldn't put the same kind of content on both. For instance, if
No.
you're doing, like, let's say you're doing shorts, shorter version, the highlight thing on Facebook. Will it work the same for Instagram? Because at least with Facebook, I know that you can click on the link or whatever
Yes.
in the post,
Yeah.
and it will take you directly there. But with YouTube, you cannot do that. You have to put the link in your
gotta go to the
description
bio,
or something in the bio.
And on Insta, you
But-
must be past.
So
10,
what kind of
10,000.
content do you think you should put on Instagram versus Facebook
Okay.
to drive traffic to your YouTube channel?
Important, something that you mentioned that I think was important to highlight is there's never a one size fits all for the channels. You can't take one piece of content and think it's going to work on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube.
Yeah.
So Instagram, remember, you've got that 59 seconds, I think it is.
Yes.
That's your max.
Yes.
And let me tell you honestly, you've got 5 seconds, the first 5 seconds in that
Someone's gonna
59
swipe
seconds
past.
to make an impact. So be punchy. Don't beat around the bush with fancy intros, or don't try to be fancy.
Yeah.
Give me the so what
Yeah.
at the start.
Yes.
Tell me what you want to do. I see it's kind of corny at the moment, but there's so many of these guys that they have these videos and they say, "Hey, stop scrolling." You know, what does it do? It makes you stop scrolling.
Yes.
It does, yeah.
It's prescriptive. It gives me a so what. It tells me what to do. And I actually watch for a couple of seconds. Be prescriptive in what you're doing.
I like this new thing that they're doing. They're like, don't watch this video.
Yeah. Because that's
Because
like your
it's
child.
your curiosity.
Like when your child, when you tell them not to do something,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden they're the ones doing it. A quick question I wanted to find out. As far as Instagram is concerned, right? I know also they have this thing where they only allow certain privileges after a certain amount of followers and
Yeah.
all that kind of thing. So then it becomes easier for you to swipe up. But they apparently the swipe up's now gone. They got the little sticker that you have to push.
Yeah.
And then you move over to
Yeah.
your thing. Why would they increasingly make it so challenging for you to cross-pollinate? And the other night we had this conversation about beef amongst the social media platforms, and this one blocking this one. Because I know when Facebook and Google had their big argument, they then removed some of the privileges where you could just post straight onto Facebook and it counts as a view. Now it doesn't anymore. Now you have to kind of wiggle your way through it and get your way back to. So I guess the question is, why do they make it so challenging for you to cross-pollinate?
You see, what each of the platforms are trying to do is they're trying to keep you within their ecosystem. So when you're on Facebook, for example, if you browse, if you click a connection, a link on Facebook, you're actually not leaving Facebook. You're actually browsing the net in Facebook. The same is true with Google properties.
Yes.
The important thing is understanding how they work together. The fact that they are competing entities doesn't mean they don't work together. Believe me, as a marketer, the goal for a marketer is the Facebook pixel, the Google Analytics tags, your LinkedIn tags, because all of those things actually in the background do work together to help you as a brand connect with people across multiple platforms. We're calling that now, it's not a new term, but that's just the omni-channel approach.
Yeah.
Understanding that your audience is not just on YouTube. Your audience is holistic people, and they use multiple channels throughout the day. They're scrolling, they scrolling unbelievable lengths with their fingers across
fingers do the talking.
many platforms, and you want to be able to reach them on every platform. So it's understanding their journey, understanding who they are, what they do, where they are, and be prescriptive and be catchy. Remember that you've got 3 seconds in most instances to make a decision.
Yeah.
I want to ask quickly, in your opinion, is Facebook dying?
No.
No.
Facebook is
alive and well.
a monster. If you combine and if you understand what Facebook owns the properties that most of us are using every day. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. You can go anywhere in the world, with the exception of China. and you can have access to these properties. What Facebook has done is they appeal to different audiences.
Because they could see that the millennials and the Gen Zs are migrating over to Instagram and not so much on Facebook anymore. So because I remember when they saw that big boom happening, they acquired Instagram.
Yes.
Even because they didn't originally own Instagram.
Yeah.
I think there was even a time they were looking at getting Snapchat, because there was a time when Snapchat was booming.
Yeah.
And they were like, we need to get this. Subsequently, Snapchat, I think, fell off somewhere.
But what they've done to try and appeal to the bigger audience is now they're giving people what they want. It's definitely working. We are seeing a big increase in millennials coming back onto Facebook.
Because they did leave Facebook, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to wrap up here, guys. We're over our time. But I just want to do quick misconceptions. So you're going to do the top 3 misconceptions that people have with regards to YouTube, social media in general.
Okay.
So your 3 biggest misconceptions. Xavier, your biggest misconception that people have. And then for me, the biggest misconception that people have of the Insights Show is that it is a religious organization. So they are associated with the church. So they're associated with Crystal Church. So although there's affiliation in the fact that that the studios is at Crystal Church, and the founder of the Insights Show is the founder of Crystal Church. So that is the biggest misconception, but it is not associated with Crystal Church. It is also not a religious organization. The Insights Show is for news and information and entertainment as well. We really hope that we do entertain you at least once in a while. You know what I'm saying? But it is news and politics. It is news and information. That is the main purpose. Even in our category, we fall under news and politics or entertainment. That is what we fall under. But so we are not a religious organization, and we are not associated with church or with, although our worldview is a Judeo-Christian worldview, and we do not shy away from that, but we are open and we embrace every culture, every religion, and every person, irrespective of their beliefs. So that's the biggest misconception that I just wanted to address there.
Misconceptions on my part would be, on social media, I think people misconstrue the fact that when you hop onto social media, you're instantly going to become some sort of influencer, or you're going to become popular, you're going to become a celebrity overnight. That's a huge misconception. It takes a lot of, and we had this conversation before the show started, there's a lot of background work. There's content planning.
Yeah.
There's thinking through your thoughts. There's what do you stand for. There's are you true to who you, what you trying to achieve on your platform. So there's no such a thing as just, I'm going to open a channel and then tomorrow I'm going to have 1 million subs and then I'm going to be famous.
As
So
Llewellyn
that's-
says, there's 20 hours of being off and maybe like 4 hours of being...
Exactly.
I mean, 20 hours
20
of being
hours
on.
yeah.
So that's the one big misconception. And the other big misconception from my part would be, again, you have to stand for what you believe in.
Yeah.
You can't just hop onto every bandwagon. And I know TikTok culture is like that. If this challenge is trending now, we're all doing it.
Yeah.
In closing, I jumped onto TikTok recently, and I was confronted by the same thing. Am I going to start dancing, which is completely out of my character? Am I going to start
That
doing
would be a
these?
sight to be
Yeah. Am I going to start doing this? I edit also by profession, so I can edit these little cutaways. Throw
Yeah.
something and then pop up with a different outfit. I can edit those things like in my sleep. But is that what I want to achieve on my platform? And last week I posted like a 5-second motivation and it went viral. So you can do what you want to do.
Yes.
If it resonates with someone, it will resonate with someone.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I jumped up by like 300 followers
Yeah.
and my video hit almost 10,000 views by like a 5-second. When God says da da da, then da, boom. And it
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah.
So, be true to yourself. Don't try to just jump on because it's popular.
100%. So the misconception that I want to bring, it also comes with a warning. And the misconception is that that anything goes and everything goes on social media. Let me warn you now, you're being profiled. For Google, who's always listening, for Facebook, who's always listening, for Twitter, who's always listening.
Amazon.
You are being profiled, not just by the sites that you visit, but by the conversations you engage in, by certain keywords that you don't realize that you're putting into your conversations, or add to your profiling. For example, if you were searching for, or if you're talking about buying something, and all of a sudden you see ads popping up about what you were talking
Is
about.
that true though?
Everything you do online goes towards your profile. So you can skew your profile, and it can actually work against you. Because what you must also remember is that recruiters and big corporates, actually, they won't tell you this, but they actually do look at your social media profile before they make a decision to actually interview you or even engage in a discussion with you.
Yes.
So not everything is okay on social media. Understand who you are as a person. If you are a business owner, understand what does your business stand for, and don't engage in every argument. There's the people think that there's no what is the term go? All news or all coverage is good.
Yeah.
It's not true.
All news is good
All
news.
news is good news. No, you don't want to get that because you don't want to get profiled. Believe me, social media, what you do on YouTube profiles you. What you do on YouTube actually profiles you on Google. So it will determine what you see when you're on Google.
It's true, yeah.
So yeah,
That's
watch
true.
what you're doing, guys. The big brothers are always watching and they're profiling us.
Like those chains that you just see
Hey,
naked woman
yo.
like, I don't know where those came from. No, bruh. It's what you were searching.
You watch the video, you click the link, and now everywhere you go.
Now you're just seeing all sorts of stuff.
Yo, guys, I have to call it. But thank you so much, Llewellyn. Thank you for coming on. It's always such a pleasure having you in studio and listening to the insights that you have to share. So I'm just going to read some of the comments. We've got Sheldon Banks saying, spot on. Disky Lovers saying, danko for the information. Sheldon Banks saying, well done on the show today, guys. Thank you so much for that. Disky Lovers saying, what consumes you controls your life.
Yeah.
100%. Thank you so much for everybody who is watching, all the insighters. Should we give our viewers a name? The insiders.
The insighters.
The insightful.
The
Hey,
insightful
such a
people.
nice name. Insightfuls.
Insightfuls.
Not fools. Not fools. Not fools.
Nah, let's think that name through a little bit longer.
F-U-L-L. Yeah, maybe we should think it. Maybe you guys should give us suggestions because I might be just making a fool out of myself over here. So thank you so much, everybody,
Insightful.
for watching. It was an absolute pleasure having the gentleman in studio this morning and talking about
thank you.
the inside look into the Inside Studio. It was a pleasure. Don't forget, tomorrow is the Wednesday warm-up. I shall be here again, and probably Xavier also, 3 times a week.
Really?
I'm just letting you know. But thank you so much, everybody. Until next time, bye.
Bye-bye.
Good morning, everybody. It is so good to have you here with me. Imagine if you have your vision as the car with the right team. Imagine how quick that vision will come into the pit step. Something that was taking 5 years takes 3 months. This morning is all about the leadership and influence.